Hey there, everybody. It is Kristen Binford, venue owner and venue coach, coming to you today with a very special guest. My friend Caitlin is here. I'm going to ask her to introduce herself in just a minute. She's an amazing venue owner with a great story, and we can't wait to share it with you today. So if you are catching this video the first time we debut it, go ahead and comment #live in the comments. It's always fun to get to see who joined us on these videos. And if you catch it later, comment #replay. And with that, I would love to welcome to the front of the room my friend Caitlin. Caitlin, can you say hello to everybody? Tell us a little bit about your venue.
Hey, my name is Caitlin. I am a new venue owner. So we just opened in July of 2023. So we just are finishing up our first season. It's actually a pretty busy December for us, but yeah, we're 200 person venue. We do venue and bar in-house.
Oh my goodness. I can't believe, even hearing you say that, I feel like you just opened in July. It feels like you've been at this longer than you have. And there's so much to celebrate. So you're the venue and you do bar in-house. So we're seeing some of her bar area behind us here. So good stuff. And tell me this. So before you decided to open a venue, or tell us just a little bit about kind of the backstory, like how did you decide to get into this crazy adventure?
Yeah. So I worked at a venue in my market for a few years and felt like I was seeing the same wedding over and over. And so wanted to work for a coordination company and move around a little bit. So I did that for a little while. And then I joined a facilities team at a venue. And I loved that like behind the scenes feel. Also, after putting in years in the wedding market, wanted to go out on my own. So this is a venture with me and my family. And so it's been really fun to continue to work in the industry and do our own thing and serve couples in the ways that we're really excited to.
That's amazing. My heart is going out to you here because I love family business, and also family business for anybody listening who's a part of a family business. Like there's some unique challenges and some unique things that are fun about that too. So maybe we'll get into some of those stories today. So good. So just kind of walk us through the timeline. So you officially opened in July of 2023 with your first events, but like, when did you really start getting serious about getting into the business? What was some of the early hurdles you feel like you had to jump through before you even got operational?
Yeah, I got hurdles for days that I can tell you about. So we started talking about this probably like 3 or 4 years ago. And we were like, okay, we're serious about this. Let's start meeting at a coffee shop every Wednesday morning and just like writing things on paper and seeing what happens. And so started doing a little bit of that, like building models and, market research, all that good stuff. And then the property that we're in now, we first saw in September of 2021. So that was after years of trying to find the right spot. And this was probably like the third or fourth spot that we were like, okay, this is it. We're going to move forward. This is going to happen. But there was always something, whether it was parking or some approval that we couldn't get. So we saw this spot. We thought we were good to go on our use. The city told us it'll be a few weeks of going through the special review process, but it's pretty simple. This space was already slotted to be like a restaurant. So we were told by some that we could just fit into that. Long story short, we didn't get our final approvals until May of 2022. So it took a really long time. And then we didn't break ground on construction until December of 2022. It's 2023 right now, right?
Yeah, I know. I feel like that's so for anybody watching this later, we're recording this video in December of 2023 for context.
So we broke ground on construction like a year ago, and construction we thought would take like 16 weeks, but it took, a few months, took 6 months. So all the things took so much longer than we thought they would. Our first wedding was July 8th and we got our CO on June 28th. So it was at the end there, but all worked out.
I can appreciate that. It's funny how many venue owners I've talked to. And just as a reminder, adding in as much buffer time is feasible, is a good idea. There's so many venue owners who it takes longer. It costs more and it takes longer than you expected it to. That's a super common story. Also, isn't it funny that both of us here are like, what year it is? I feel like the wedding industry is the only industry where we're like used to writing 2024 on contracts and stuff, right?
Yeah.
So we're like, wait, what year is it actually today?
Totally. Yep. Yeah.
Awesome. So I'm curious. So you had been business planning for some time. You had been dreaming about this for a long time. It took a number of kind of shots at location. And I just want to remind anybody who is thinking about opening a wedding venue, you only get one shot at location. And so it can be super frustrating to like try and try again and try again, but a million times over, like you're not making that decision twice.
Yeah.
What are some of the favorite things about the location that you ultimately ended up in, Caitlin?
You know, I think I like now know the things that I didn't realize. But we're pretty centrally located between two big hub cities. And we're really conveniently located with the airport and hotels, which isn't necessarily true of venues around here. So, I think just like accessibility for people has been something I didn't realize how well positioned we were, but we are really well positioned for like accessibility for traveling guests. And a lot of our couples have quite a bit of people coming from out of town. So it is a big deal for us.
It's worked out to be a good thing in the long run. So I'm curious, when you think back to, do you remember like when the first time was you reached out to our team? At what point was that in the journey?
That's a great question. We were definitely, I mean, I remember when I reached out to you, I think we had 7 bookings total. And I remember by the time I got through the 8-week venue accelerator, we had 23. And that was like mind boggling to me. So that's like very specifically what I remember. I think it was like November or December of last year. I think it was about a year ago.
That's amazing, my friend.
Yeah.
Amazing. So I remember too, some of those early conversations and you felt like, oh, Kristen, like I've come from the industry. Like, I'm curious, what was it that actually made you initially reach out? And then I would love if you would just speak to like, hey, some of the concerns or questions or hesitations that I had and where your mindset was at that time.
Yeah, I think for us, we have put everything into this business. And so with construction and the cost of construction, to invest in coaching felt really scary. And I don't know, I honestly like couldn't tell you. It was like one foot in front of the other. And at some point you encouraged me like, are you in or are you out? And you just have to make this decision. And I couldn't tell you why. I was like, okay, I just got to try it, but I'm so glad that I did. I was coming from 5 years of wedding experience, and I was coming from a lot of different like roles in the wedding world too. So I thought like, what could I possibly not know or understand? So I was super, super hesitant. Yeah, but like, I can't even believe like how much friction you've removed from the process for me. So yeah, like I knew a lot, but I didn't know a lot about running my own venue. I knew a lot about wedding days. I knew a lot about timelines. There's a lot I knew a lot about, but I didn't know a lot about the behind the scenes.
The running of the venue business.
Totally.
Than running wedding days.
Yeah. Yep. And I think if I were to be like where I was at now, even say same event count, same pricing, same that without you, I think I would be very stressed. Like, I think it would be a totally different experience. So, yeah, I couldn't tell you why, but something in me knew like this is worth it. And it totally has been.
And listen, for anybody listening at home, this business is a business of big decisions, right? You were making a lot of big decisions in the build. You were making a lot of big decisions about what the business would look like and what the operation would look like and how you would serve clients. And I get it. So it is a big decision, right? To reach out and say, hey, I know a lot of things, but I know I don't know it all. And listen, we're all in the business of high ticket wedding days, right? Every wedding that we book is a certain amount and every wedding that we book is a certain amount. So I'm curious, just to give everyone some context and some scale, and you know, I love celebrations. Tell us where you're at in the business like right now.
Yeah. So it's December of 2023. We have 57 events booked for 2024, and we have 8 booked for 2025. And that, like, last year, January was our biggest booking month right after I went through the Venue Accelerator program. So I don't, 2024 will continue to grow, but we're looking great. We have whatever 57 plus 8 is future events booked.
That's amazing. And what was your November celebration that you just shared with our group?
So we had our highest ever future revenue booking month. Are these dings? Can you hear the ding?
Yeah, no, we're good. I can hear them, but everybody at home will be fine.
Okay. Yeah. So November, we had our highest future revenue booking month, but it wasn't our highest event count booked. So, yeah, that was great. That was huge for us.
Yep. You're driving top line revenue. You are. Tell us too, just a little bit about kind of how you've grown as a leader, how you've grown in your team, right? Because you went from being someone who had worked in the wedding industry, but correct me if I'm wrong, this is kind of the first business that you've been in the leadership role in the business too. Is that true?
Yeah. So my husband and I actually own a screen printing business, but we do that just us. And so we don't have, this is my first, like, I'm in charge of people. I'm like running the show, communicating all the things. So that's been so valuable to have other people in that position to, like, listen to the way that they do things or get feedback on, this is the conversation I know I need to have. How do I have it? And can I practice with you on, like, my monthly mindset calls? And so yeah, lots and lots of new stuff. I also don't love being in charge of other people. I'd rather be behind the scenes and doing the work. And so it's been really cool to learn how to lead in a lot of ways that I haven't done before.
Our growth edge is fun. We were actually just talking about this before we went live here with you guys today, that we all have growth edges and that there's always things that as venue owners, like one of the questions I love to ask venue owners is like, when they're coming into the business is like, what's your background? Because we all bring gifts and talents and skills. You brought a lot of wedding industry knowledge into this business, right? And there's always going to be a part of this business that's different, right? It's either maybe you're a new venue owner and you've got to learn the wedding industry and you've got to learn this business. Maybe you're a business person, you're used to leading teams, but this is all new to you, right? So there's a lot of different ways that growth can look. And that's part of fun, but honestly, it's also part of what's scary, I think, and big and hard as a new.
So. And I think having the, like, community in it takes it from, like, this horrible, stressful thing that I'm thinking about until I'm in it. And then I'm, like, not confident when I'm in it. And, like, am I doing it right? And did I mess that up? To, like, hey, this is a small thing in the scheme of this, like, thing that we're going to be doing for years and years. So, like, here's how I can address it. And it's not as big of a deal as I'm making it, which is very often true.
I mean, but that's human nature, right? Like sometimes we make things hard that aren't necessarily hard, but when you haven't been through it before, that's why it's even more important to surround yourself with people who have.
Yeah.
And so a little bit here, y'all, of what Caitlin is referring to. So Caitlin went through the Venue Accelerator with us, which is our 8-week intensive coaching program for venue owners. But Caitlin is also a part of our elite community of amazing venue owners in Ignite. Tell us just a little bit about that, Caitlin, and kind of how you're stretching and growing and how you've, even since you graduated the Venue Accelerator. Yeah, tell me about it.
I think one of the things that you said to me when I was like, what's this Ignite thing all about, is like, this is a seat at the table of, like, CEOs and people that are growing. And I am such a, like I'm a serial entrepreneur. Like, my brain is always like, okay, what's my next thing? And so I think there's such a good balance of, like, doing this well, and then also being at a table of people that are always growing, always doing new things, and, like, generously sharing about those new things. This is how we do this. This is how we do scheduling. And so that's been really cool, just to watch other people do things that I haven't done yet, and to also get to watch people that are doing the same things that I am doing. And, like, just so much learning. And I feel like every time there's, like, such significant nuggets that, like, impact whatever small moments they are, but over the course of the next 15 years are going to have, like, insane impacts on me as a business owner and a person, and experience for our couples. And so, just like the continual learning has been so awesome.
Amazing. So, and when Caitlin references CEOs, it's specifically CEOs of wedding venues, right? I think that it's so rare to find places in our industry to be surrounding yourself with people who are stretching and growing. And like, you've had so much success, and there's people coming up behind you. There's people who are farther ahead of you in the business that you're getting to follow in their footsteps. And listen, this is one of those businesses that we're always learning something new, because TikTok trends and there's always something new. So
I'm still not on TikTok.
well, I mean, all of the crazy ideas couples get on TikTok to learn about other, So anyway, such a funny thing. So, so listen, anybody who's kind of listening in and hearing your story and getting to celebrate with you, I'm curious what you would say to someone who maybe was in that same spot you were. Like, I'm in the wedding industry, I'm opening a venue, or maybe I've opened a venue. I do have background and experience, like, but I'm sitting on the fence. I haven't booked a call with Kristen's team. What would you say to that person?
I was thinking about this morning, and I think one of the things that I'm seeing like such insane value in is we're booking our ideal couples because we know who our ideal couples are. And so the like true joy of working with people that walk in our doors, tour, they know who we are, we know who they are, and we're like, yes, let's work together. That has just been like amazing. And when we get to people's wedding days, it's like our friends, like we're so excited to celebrate them and support them and work really hard for them. And so I think when we took this giant leap of faith of opening up a venue, it was like, who will sign a contract with us? Like, anybody, please, like, book your wedding here. Because there's such significant investment and like dream, like there's just, you feel like we need every person that will consider booking here. And so like nailing down that ideal client was something that I would have never done or known how to do or understood how to do. So that's been immense value. And then, yeah, I think like all the resources that you provide are ones that I use every day. So things that I would know, like, oh, I should make something to like help with this system. So those have been like super impactful and super helpful. And yeah, so just like my mind is running wild with like, there's just so many things.
So what's interesting about this is there's so many people who kind of, I want to circle back to something that you said. You said like, we're having so much joy in the business. It's so much fun to serve the couples that we're serving. And I don't want to make it wrong. You're right. So many venue owners feel like I need to book, and I'm willing to book kind of anybody who walks in the door. But I want you, listen, there's a venue for every couple, right? Ideal client is about who are you best suited to serve, who is the best fit both directions, right?
Yeah.
But part of the reason why Caitlin is having fun and having joy in the business is because she's getting to serve couples that they're a really good match for. And if I just categorize venue owners who kind of book every wedding and we just have to make it work, doesn't always live there because it's not always a good match. So I'm totally.
And I think like, because we are seeing so much success, like I did a tour a few weeks ago and like we weren't the right fit, and I like made a suggestion and it was like, yeah, just that, like the freedom of like, we're here to serve the couples that want what we have to offer, and then like if we don't, we might know who does. So yeah, that's been awesome.
So you're not just having the blessing of being successful in your own business, like the ability to serve couples even when they're not your couple and make that referral out is super duper powerful. Yeah. Awesome, my friend. Awesome. So you have an audience, kind of a venue owners here, or maybe someone who's kind of looking at opening a wedding venue someday. And for context, y'all, the folks who we work with in the Venue Accelerator, some folks are brand new in the business like Caitlin was. A lot of our clients, our coaching clients, have been in the business for many years. So that kind of spans the gamut. But I'm just curious, you have an audience of venue owners. Is there anything that you want to share?
I mean, I think just like making sure you can legally run your business in the spot that you want to is like the first hurdle that for us was what took more time than anything else. So figuring out like what zonings are other venues in your area under, and how does that work? And are they doing it right? Because just because they're like, I don't know, because you put so much into it that you want to make sure that you can run it for years and years. So that's the thing that comes to mind was like, yeah, make sure you can actually run your business.
Yes. Oh man, we say that all the time, but it's like, you can't have one of these businesses everywhere. Don't assume.
Totally.
We hear it a lot from folks who are super rural, like, oh no, we're out in the country. Nope. That does not pass the no-go test. You need to make sure and cross your I's and dot your T's. Let me ask this. You're good at celebrating. We're big on celebrating in the Kristen Binford coaching community. What do you want to be celebrating a year from now? Like, you've made massive leaps forward in literally a year. What is it you want to be celebrating a year from now?
At this time next year, want to have our 2025 fully booked. So we're starting the year fully booked.
Awesome. What are you going to do to celebrate that?
Oh, that's a great question. Vacation. Yeah, I've got 2 young kids, and they're like just getting to the age where family vacation would be fun. So, family vacation.
All right, my friend. When we hop off here live, I'm going to give you some homework on that, because that's a fun thing to look forward to. So if anybody has any questions for Caitlin in the comments, you are welcome to type those out. Again, #live if you caught this live, #replay if you caught this later. And for anybody who hasn't booked a call with Kristen Binford Coaching, or maybe you did a year or 2 ago, but it wasn't the right time and you've been sitting on the fence, you've been inspired by Caitlin's story today, I would just encourage you to do so. KristenBinford.com/accelerator is how you see our team calendar. Now on that call, we're going to ask you a bunch of questions. We asked Caitlin a bunch of questions. Where are you at? What are the gaps? What are the opportunities? What is it that you really want? Sometimes we can help you. Sometimes, just like in Caitlin's story, and she referred out to another venue, sometimes we're referring you out to someone else based on your needs and your gaps and your opportunity. But Caitlin, what would you say to someone who is ready to book that call, but is just a little bit nervous?
Absolutely do it. Just do it. I mean, you have so many. That was a huge thing for me, was like watching things like this and being like, okay, if all these people are saying it, there's something there. And so, like, it's true. There's so much value in what you offer.
How much fun is it for this to be full circle, that you used to be watching these videos, and now we're here celebrating with you on these videos. And I'm excited for some of the folks who are watching this video now and end up booking a call with our team, that they end up being another success story. Maybe they end up with us in the Ignite community one day. How much fun is that? This is a blessing.
So cool.
All right, you guys. So let's give Caitlin a round of applause in the comments, and #CaitlinRocks. Thank you so much for your time today. You are good at this video thing, my friend.
Thank you.
I really appreciate you. All right, everybody. Thanks so much for joining us here. KristenBinford.com/accelerator to see our team calendar. We'll see you next time.